All right, so we're live here with David Ewing Jr. He's an author, historian extraordinaire. I think he's a linguist. One of my favorite topics with you, Dave, is hearing you kind of break down language, hearing you break down history, and how all of that stuff kind of goes together. So I'm really excited about getting you to talk through a little bit of history with us here today. How you doing today, man?
I'm fine, thank you, Solomon. Yeah, I like your American accent. Yes, and the thing is, yeah, history is a very big issue. We could talk about anything. There's too many different topics to talk about, and you know, I don't know what type of an audience you have or what interests them. So I will let you ask the questions, and I will do my best to let you know about anything that you would like to know, or from what I might know what the answer could be. Yeah. So go ahead, ask as you wish.
So you know, one place I really want to start. So it's a couple of things I want to get to, but I want to start with one of the things you said in a previous conversation we were having. So can we start with the Bible, right? And in general, religions in general. So all the Abrahamic religions, where do they come from? How do they come about? And what are the Bible, and what's the etymology of like the Bible and the Quran and the Torah?
Okay, now the thing is, I'm one of those people that I believe in something like, if somebody is going to turn around and say this man has done a murder, I'm going to turn around and say, is there cameras? Is there evidence for this? And this is the kind of thing that I will look for. So now when it comes to the Bible, yes, unfortunately, there's going to be people who are going to be screaming now. Because you're in America, I'm surprised Elijah, Mohamed, or whoever these people are in the Nation of Islam and everywhere else, that they have not spoken about this. That's why I find it very strange that I think I'm one of the few people who has globally spoken about this. Now, this is one of the biggest frauds that I would say in Islam and in Christianity and in Judaism. Now I'm going to send you pictures. I wasn't going to send pictures.
Okay.
So now the thing is, because I want people to understand, yes, many people think the Bible is in English. It is not an English book. If you are in France, you will not read it in English. You don't understand English. Si tu habites en France, tu lis les Bibles, les bibliothèques en français, tu comprends pas anglais. Moi, je connais pas anglais. Pourquoi tu veux dire-moi le tout de Christos en anglais? Je suis français. You see? So the thing is, I'm going to go through the Bible in its original language. The Bible is written in a language called Hebrew. So now the thing is, what language are you speaking to me right now?
English.
Sorry, no, that's not English.
It's not?
That's American.
What is this? Oh.
It's American.
Okay.
It's different from mine. I'm sorry, but it's not English. So now why did I say it like that? I will explain to you. Now, what many people don't know is I'm not talking about Arabic, what people speak on the streets. Now, the thing is, the Bible, if you are the Old Testament, is basically in exactly the same language as the Quran. Now, many people don't say this. That is one of the crimes of many of these professors and other people. Now, the difference between the Bible and the Quran is Snoop Dogg and me talking. It seemed like Will Smith will say, no, getting jiggy with it. Now, getting jiggy with it is English, but it's just a different type of English. Yeah. Ice Cube. Yeah. I mean, that's English.
Yeah.
Easy E. That's English.
Yeah.
I'm Easy, the one they're talking about. You see? That's English. Yeah, but the difference is he's pronouncing it different. So now the truth is the Bible and the Quran is actually in the same language. And then there's another thing. They're just using a different style handwriting. That's all. So somebody's going to say, that's Hebrew, that's Aramaic, that's Arabic. Sorry, it's the same language, but they pronounce it different. In Australia, they pronounce it different again. You see? And then on the streets in England, everybody, you know, people pronounce things in different ways. Yeah? It's like when somebody says, "What's going down, yo?" Is that English? I mean, what does it mean, what's going down? Why can't you say,
slang.
what
It's
is
English,
going
but
down?
it's slang. Yeah, so you're right.
I mean, what do you mean, what's going down? I mean, why can't you say what's going left? You see? So, yeah, when you see your friends, why don't you say, "What's going left, bro? I'm going right, bro, tonight." Yeah. So the thing is, actually, the truth is the Bible and the Quran basically have the same words, but they're different dialects. And it looks like Arabic is more of the original. So now the thing is, what they don't tell you about the secret in the Bible is, many people will say, if you look online, they'll say that Muhammad is in one or two places in the Bible. But I have a book called Jerusalem is in Europe. In that book, I've gone through it. Muhammad is in many places in the Bible, that his story is in the Bible and his followers are in the Bible. I'm sorry if people don't like it, but I'm very sorry, it's there. Now, the thing is, they've lied about the history. I could not find a man called Muhammad or the Prophet Muhammad living in the deserts of Arabia 1,400 years ago. That history is a lie. If you read my books and see many of my other works, you'll find it. We'll do videos about this if there is a demand. People leave comments and say, "Hey, Solomon, get that David on," and say, "Show the proof." So now here is the Hebrew in the Bible, and this is how the word Muhammad is written there. You could write it how you want, like the locals, like Mohamed or Mohamed or Mehmet or however, or Muhammad or Muhammad or however you want to. So now if you open up the Bible, so now I'm going to open up the Bible in many places, not one or two, and I'll go through it pretty fast, and then people could see it themselves, that they can open up these books and look at the Hebrew. Now, the first picture, I've just sent you a picture. That's how Muhammad looks like in the printed Hebrew, in the Bibles, in the Bible manuscripts. Now, the oldest Bible manuscripts really are 1,000 years old, they will say, but they're lying because it's in print Hebrew, so it's only about 400 years old, 300, or even 200 or 100, and it's been modified. So the Bible's not old. But now we've got a problem. This Muhammad, whoever he is, yeah, they're telling us he was an Arab in the deserts, but now the evidence shows maybe he was an European, from Europa, Europa. That's where original Arabia is. So now here is the book of Joel in the Bible, chapter 3, verse 5 in the Bible. So now what they've done is, can you see the name? It says the word Muhammad there, and they've just spelled it in a weird way. Oh, yeah, they've translated the word Muhammad. What does the translation say? Muhammad. They've translated it under the red. The Muhammad is there in Hebrew, and they've translated it to say what word? My what?
All right. Yeah, hold on. Let me look. So in red, and let's see, Hebrew and English, Mohamed. Hold on. Let me see. I'm scrolling down. It says. The above photo shows in red and my possessions.
Yes. So now here, it's like I'm the translator. I am a Christian, so I don't want people to know that Muhammad is here in the Bible. So you know what? I'm going to translate his name to say anything. So in this chapter, some translations say my possessions. So now the thing is, that translation should actually say, because you have taken my gold and my silver, and you have taken my prized Mohammedans into your temples and palaces. So here is the Bible telling the story of the followers of Muhammad. Instead, they've translated it as God's prized Mohammedans are God's possessions. So whoever these Mohammedans are, or Muhammad, they are the prized people of God. Can you see it?
I do.
That's one.
Go ahead.
That's not enough evidence. One verse ain't enough. Don't worry, I got many verses. We'll go through them all before you make a judgment. It's because the thing is, I'm not here to preach. I'm just going through the history, and what I found is I show that it's suspicious. Me, I'm not interested if you want to follow the Bible or the Quran. I'm interested in showing the history. So I showed the book of Joel. So now here, even many of these Muslim preachers, so-called amazing, excellent ones, none of them mention this. It's like a conspiracy. It's like they don't even want you to know. If they wanted Islam to spread, they would be telling the world this, but they're not even doing it. That means there's a conspiracy at the top, that these religions, they cause these conflicts, they collect money in churches and mosques. Now here is the book of Lamentations in the Bible, chapter 1, verse 10. Yes, have you received it? And here they've translated the word Mohammed, and they've given it a different meaning. In the last place, in this translation, it said Mohammed was God's possessions, prized possessions. Who is it this time? What did they translate it as this time?
Let's see. This time it says Mohammed means her pleasant things.
Oh yeah, we can invent things. So they're inventing it. So Mohammed here, it means her pleasant things. But if you take it back to the original, you'll notice that a war is going on in the Bible. In the Bible, there is a war with these Mohammed and his followers. It says here, the enemy, if you read the verse, it says the enemy has spread his hand out over all her present things, or it actually says, the original says Mohammed. It says the enemy has spread his hand over all the Mohammedans, or the followers of Mohammed, for she has seen the heathens enter into her, or Mohammed's sanctuary, those that God commanded that you must not enter into your assembly. The assembly place, according to this Bible here, is called what? What is it called?
Let me see. In this place, the green arrow, it says your assembly to enter.
Yeah, God's assembly place, Becca.
Becca, B-A-Q, yeah, Becca.
Yes. So now the same word is in the Quran, and they say that the assembly place in Becca. And now the thing is, the Muslims today, historically, that's another long subject. They say, and they pray towards Mecca, and they say this is Becca. But the thing is, there were other places called Becca in Russia also. But the main thing is, what is Muhammad doing in the Bible? Isn't this a Christian book? Didn't they say the Mohammedans are the enemies of God? But here we can see that Muhammad is the pleasant things of God and the possessions of God, whoever this God of the Bible is. So the real Christians and the real followers of Jesus are these Mohammedans, according to the Bible. Some people are going to say, that's not enough evidence. It's not enough. That's two places. Don't worry. Let's go through them all. I don't care if you become a Christian or a Jew or if you become a Buddhist, but this is the history of the Bible. Now, here is the book of Chronicles, the second book of Chronicles, chapter 36, verse 19. Now, in one place, they translated that Muhammad is possessions. In another place, they translated Muhammad is pleasant things. Here, they translated Muhammad as just, not possessions, but as what? Can you see in the second book of Chronicles?
I do. So in this one, it says it's precious possessions.
Possessions is with the next word, so it's just precious. So now what this verse talks about, this verse, the full word, if you put the word Muhammad back in the original, it says that these people came and they burned the house of God and broke down the wall of Jerusalem and burned all the palaces with fire and destroyed all the possessions of Muhammad or Mohammedans. So we can see that the house of God was with the people of Muhammad and that Jerusalem was with the people of Muhammad. That's why this story is in my book called Jerusalem is in Europe. The book gives the full information. We're only going to go through some details today, basic details. But as you can see, this Muhammad is in the Bible and his people are in the city of Jerusalem. It's their city, you see? And the enemy came and they burned the house of God and they destroyed Jerusalem. But the Mohammedans are inside Jerusalem and they are the precious of God. Do you see? And they are the possessions of God, the Mohammeds or the Mohammedans. Do you see this?
I do.
This is the Bible, and they're hiding it. If you can read Hebrew or Arabic and understand it, you can see it. Now, here is more. The book of Kings, it talks about King David, King Solomon in the Bible, but they're not going to tell you that King Mohammed is in the Bible. Yes? And so the thing is, even with the blue, how to pronounce it, they're hiding the pronunciation. It's Mohammed here. Can you see it? And here they've translated Mohammed to be what word under the red? This time.
Pleasant.
Yeah, just pleasant. It's like you invent your translations. So now here is somebody who is fighting against Mohammed. And he is saying, now this time tomorrow, I will send my servants to you, and they will search your house and the houses of your people and servants, and this will happen. Whatever belongs to Mohammed, they shall put in their hand, and they shall take it. So whoever it is, somebody was attacking Mohammed, the Mohammedans, and Mohammed and the followers of Mohammed were protecting the house of God, and they were protecting the city of Jerusalem, even in the time of King Solomon and King David in the book of Kings. Who is this Mohammed in the Bible? This is really worrying. Why does nobody know this history? Why don't even the Muslims mention it? That means that the Muslim history is a lie, and they are telling lies. Because why are they not mentioning this? You see this? It's a conspiracy. Total conspiracy. You see? Are you beginning to see something is wrong? That they're hiding this? Yes. It's not just in one or two places. Even the greatest of Muslim preachers, Ahmed Deedat, only showed Mohammed's in the Bible once. And this other guy called Dr. Zakir Naik, he's only said it once. I mean, I like their preaching. They were intellectuals. That if the Muslims want to say, hey, David's pointed this out, I want to be like those preachers or even greater. Now, if somebody wants to compare me to a secular researcher, there's Dr. Anatoly Fomenko. He's shown some of this, but even he didn't show all this, which is suspicious, many people would say. So now let's talk about, people talk about there's going to be a new temple in Jerusalem, and many Jewish people want to build it, and many evangelical Christians, they're talking about this temple of God, and Ezekiel prophesied it. Now here is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 24, verse 25. Here they've translated the word Mohammed into a different word. What do they say Mohammed means this time? They've just invented the meaning. What do they say he is this
desire
time? Yeah, Mohammed is just a desire. So if Mohammed's a desire, we could turn around and say Jesus Christ is your dream. And we could say that, the Virgin Mary is, it's like saying Mohammed's a tomato, Jesus Christ is a banana, the Virgin Mary is a tomato, inventing translations, hiding it. Do you see? So now, but here is another thing. It shows there was a war going on. That the children of Israel, Mohammed must have been the children of Israel in Jerusalem, and they were fighting the opposite side. And it says here, and you, the son of Adam, and they've translated it here. It says Adam, have a look, and you, the son of man. It actually says the son of Adam. Can you see Adam? Can you see? But they've hidden even that in the translation. And they said, not on the day when I take from them their stronghold. Yes, somebody's threatening them, and their joy and glory, and Mohammed, I will take Mohammed from their eyes, and from their life, and from their sons and daughters. Now, who is making these threats? In the Bible, these things. Yes, and this Mohammed is the beautiful one of God, and he's in the book of Ezekiel. So it means there's something wrong with Judaism and Christianity. Now, here is the book of Isaiah. Here they've translated Mohammed, this time again in a different word. What if they translated it as in chapter 64, verse 11 in the Bible? Isaiah.
All right. So in Isaiah, it's translated as things or pleasant things.
Yeah. So they're just inventing it. And so now the house of God, they're going to say it's somebody else's. But here, God's beautiful house, our holy, beautiful house, where our fathers praised you, is burnt out with fire, and the Mohammedans are destroyed. So in the previous things we're seeing is somebody is threatening we're going to destroy Muhammad and the house of God, and now they've actually done it. So this means the followers of Muhammad, even at that time, at the time of the Bible, must have been the followers of God, and they were protecting the house of God. This is what it shows me as a historian. I'm not religious here, you know. I mean, I've got friends who are Christians and Jews, you see, so I'm not on anybody's side. You see, but the thing is, they're inventing the translations. Like here is the book of Lamentations, book 2, and so this is a long verse. But so first, I'll send you the verse. They've translated Muhammad as what do they say Muhammad means here this time?
Let's see. In Lamentations, it says Muhammad means pleasing.
Yeah, you know, yeah, it's like we could change it tomorrow. It's like they could invent meanings tomorrow and say Muhammad means the enemy. You see, it's up to you. And then, you know, people read the Bible and they just go to church, sing, and they think, oh, I've just had a nice day. Oh, these Muslims are the enemies. Oh, Muhammad's and all this. But anyway, here is the translation. So here, now let's see who is Israel. It says God has done this, and then God has drawn back his right hand from the enemy. And then, so that's why the enemy attacked Israel and burnt Jerusalem. And then God burnt like a flaming fire against Jacob and destroyed everything around. He burnt Jacob, so Israel and Jacob, and God became like an enemy, and his right hand is standing like an enemy, and God slew all the Mohammedans. He slew in the tent of the daughter of Zion. So the Mohammedans are Jacob, they are Israel. Do you see? Are you
so
beginning
to so you're saying the Mohammedans are Israel?
Yes. Because the Mohammedans, isn't that what Muslims say when they stop you? They always stop you and they say things like, hey brother, salam alaikum. Hey brother, and you know, and they touch your hands and they shake hands. That's something, brother, peace, and all these things they say. And don't they say Jesus was a Muslim? Don't they say Muhammad was a Muslim? King David was a Muslim? Moses was a Muslim? They're saying all these people were Muslims. And now in the Bible we've got this strange story of Muhammad, and Muhammad's the precious one of God. And now let's check Muhammad's ancestry according to the Bible. Let's check this out. Yes, now the house of Israel. Yes, now let's see who is the house of Israel and who is inside the house of Israel. Ezekiel does all these prophecies that people say are to do with 666, and Revelation came after it. And here they've translated the word Muhammad as what does it mean here?
All right, let me see. Let's see if it came through. All right, so the last one I got in Ezekiel, the last one I got is Ezekiel. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes, this one is Ezekiel now. Before we finish
desire.
So
yeah, it's desire.
Yeah, Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 21. But the shocking thing is Muhammad's in so many places. Now here it says, speak to the house of Israel. I'm not sure if God is telling Ezekiel or an angel to tell Ezekiel. So God is now commanding the Israelites. And this is what the Lord says to the world. You will see that I'm going to destroy the Muqaddas. You boast and you are arrogant. And Muhammad, the house of Israel, Muhammad is the delight of the eyes and of your soul and your sons and daughters of Israel. Do you see? That God is going to destroy Israel. You know, always God's fighting with Israel in the Bible. Yeah, you notice this, saying that you betrayed God. Yes, so now the thing is, this is a message to the children of Israel, the house of Israel. Now the Israelis at that time were boasting and arrogant, and Muhammad was the delight of Israel, of their eyes and their soul. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, read it if you want. Yeah, it's God who is saying, speak to the house of Israel. This is what the Lord says to the world. You will see that I'm going to profane the sanctuary. You know, Muqaddas. Yeah, it means God's house. And then it says, the house of Israel, you are boasting, you are arrogant. And Muhammad, he is the delight of your eyes and your soul. And your sons and daughters that you have left behind, I'm going to kill them. Yeah. Now, the thing is, it's strange that this God is a killer in the Bible. Yes, but the thing is, you know, unfortunately, yeah, these stories, you know, I don't know why God wanted to kill them, but the house of Israel, that the delight of Israel was Muhammad. He was the main one. He's the delight of their eyes and their soul. Have you seen it?
No, I see it.
Yes. So now we got a problem. Why is this Muhammad in this Bible? Yes. And so the thing is, then there is battles that the Israelites are having with Egypt. And I mean, why is this Muhammad there anyway? Isn't it supposed to be a Christian religion or a Jewish religion? Now, here is the book of Hosea. Yes. And here they've translated Muhammad to mean what this time?
In Hosea, it means valuables.
So you can see they're inventing things. They're lying. One, why are they lying? Because they know it's the end of Christianity and Judaism. It's the end. Those religions are finished. Bye. Yes. So the thing is here. Now, when you read this, it says, indeed, they are gone because of destruction. The children of Israel. It says Egypt will invade Israel, will gather them, and Memphis will bury Muhammad and all these people for their money and silver, and nettles shall possess them, and thorns shall be in their tents. So God's going to destroy Israel. He's going to send Egypt to invade. What is Muhammad doing inside Israel? You see, Muhammad was one of the children of Israel according to the Bible. Do you see what this is? This is really worrying. And then, yeah, this is the only one that, you know, I think the Nation of Islam have pointed out, and the only verse in the Bible from the book of Solomon. Yes, in chapter 5, verse 6, what have they translated Muhammad to be this time?
Let's see. In Song of Solomon, Muhammad is lovely.
Yeah. You see, they're lying. One, you know, when you are a police officer or a detective, Columbo, you know Columbo, you first check, yes, the evidence and the motive. We can see a motive, that they're lying and they're hiding Muhammad in the translations. This means Muhammad must be very important. So now, according to this, so now here Muhammad is described in the book of Solomon. It says, Muhammad, his mouth is totally sweet. Yes, he is Muhammad. He is the beloved of God, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. This is the beloved of God, one of the beloveds. I mean, Christ was a beloved, so was King David, so was Moses. I'm not into religion. Religious people will make it big and say, oh, Jesus was the beloved, or Moses was the beloved, or King David was the beloved. You know, God loved these people so much. And some people will say Abraham was his beloved and his friends. But here we can clearly see that Muhammad was one of them, and he must have been the children of Israel, that God is telling you that he is one of the beloveds and he is a friend of God to the daughters of Jerusalem. Can you see this? Is it clear?
It is. It is.
I'm nowhere near finished. Let me just show. It's all over the Bible. I mean, the thing is, so it shows that what you call it, the Bible is actually a document of Islam, and they've modified it and hidden it from original Islam. Now, here is the book of Hosea, chapter 9, verse 16. What is Muhammad this time? Who is Muhammad this time?
He's the darling in Hosea.
Is it becoming a joke? Can you see now there is a crime here and a motive? Can you see it? Can you hear
Yeah,
it?
so in the translations, they've taken the word Muhammad and just kind of put in these descriptions of people and things to hide what they were talking about.
Yes. So if you're hiding something, it means you're lying. If you're lying, it means there's a crime here. That means that, what do you call it? If you are doing this so much, it means you're afraid. And that means the truth must have something to do with Muhammad, you see. And that will bring you to the Quran. So this is the reason why they're hiding it. Now, in the book of Hosea, chapter 9, verse 16, now the thing is, Ephraim is one of the children of Israel. Now, this is what the book of Hosea says, or Hosea, however you want to say. It says, Ephraim, the children of Israel, from that tribe, Ephraim is one of the 12 tribes, is struck down and their root is dried. And then it says that these grandchildren of the children of Israel, they shall have no fruit, even if they can, and I will kill all the babies, or the Mohammeds in their stomach, you know, the future Mohammeds. So this was at that time. You must have heard of Ephraim or Ephraim, yes, from one of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
And all of their children from that tribe are called Mohammed. That's what the Bible is saying. It's saying Ephraim, that what do you call it? In their wombs is Mohammed. From their children, somebody wanted all of these babies dead, and from there came Mohammed. So Mohammed is from the children of Israel. He is not an Ishmaelite. That's another lie. And Arabs are not Ishmaelite. The word Arab actually just means rabbi. And they've lied. There is no such thing as an Arab race. They just made it up. You see, there's many more places people will find Mohammed. And the thing is, what is it doing there? Mohammed is from the children of Israel. They lied. And so if this Mohammed was a prophet of God, yes, so even the Muslims are lying, trying to justify it. He was an Arab and things like this. We can clearly see he's from the same bloodline. Now, the thing is, when we check this out, we will find the conspiracy of religions, how they're abusing people. Now, here is in the book of Lamentations, chapter 1 this time, verse 11. What have they translated Muhammad to be this time?
All right, let's see. The next translation we have, Muhammad is their valuables.
Yeah, and as you see, there's many words there that they haven't translated in the Bible. There's many words that they don't give meanings to. Yes, and they can you see the question marks?
Yeah.
Yes. So the thing is, that verse, whatever the meaning they've given our translations, even I couldn't figure it out. But the thing is, it's very strange that we're finding Muhammad in the Bible. Now, this is actually worrying. It's totally worrying. And the thing is, if anybody has a look at old Hebrew and the writings, it's like if people study my books, like Jerusalem is in Europe, then they will see that something is actually wrong. It's totally wrong. I don't even know what to say, that this Muhammad is, you know, he's basically in the Bible. I don't know what he's doing there, but what I can clearly see is that this Muhammad was one of the great prophets of Israel, that there was lots of battles going on, and many of the things, because the Vatican controlled the Bible. These days you've got Protestants, evangelicals, different translations, but the Vatican and their people, they wrote things, added things, and even within the Bible itself, you can see that, you know, there was the Crusades and many of the things, that it looks like the stories of the Crusades are actually in the Bible. And because this is the first time we've spoken, I advise people to understand the background. Yeah, and my book goes through it with deeper explanations. Jerusalem is in Europe. That's another topic that we'll go through it next time if you want. But it's a deep topic, but the evidence shows that Jerusalem is not even in the Middle East. Now, does that mean that Jesus Muhammad were white because Europe is white today? No, it doesn't. By the way, many people don't know. For example, in the 1930s, yeah, there's people who look like Latino Americanos or Middle Eastern people who are German, not immigrants, not migrants in the 1930s and 40s. What they did was they thought, we don't want to kill all these people, but we want it to be white only here. So 500,000 people, what they did was they gave them, you know, injections so that they can reproduce and have children. Yes. So the thing is, in Europe, it never was a white continent. We'll talk about that another time. So the thing is, that doesn't mean that Christ was white, or you know, Muhammad was white, or Moses was white. The reality is, you know, the colors could be anything, because and within the family people could have married, but evidence shows that Europe was mixed before the 1950s. that they turned it into a totally white continent by the 1950s. Before then, there were other races, but they basically got rid of them with the nationalism in the late 19th century, and many unfortunate, sad things happened, unfortunately. Yeah? But what do you have to say about this Mohammed being in the Bible? I mean, isn't this totally worrying?
It is. So I'm trying to put it together, right? So I'm trying to make it make sense and digestible for my brain. So essentially, and help me understand, essentially what you're saying is the original in the Bible, the people that they're talking about, there's a war against the Muhammad and his followers, and somebody is going to war against them, trying to kill them, right? Do we know who's trying to kill them?
When you said basically, I'm trying to say, I will make it a bit easier for you to see. I will let you decide. Let's say if you're reading the Bible in Hebrew, yes, if you're reading in Hebrew, yes, this Muhammad, yes, here it is in original Hebrew, his name is there. This time they've translated Muhammad as lovely. Now, when you read this, here is the original. I mean, it's in Hebrew. I mean, you can't hide it. Is Muhammad the enemy, or is he the friend of God, or is he one of God's chosen people? He's a beloved that God's even telling the women, hey, I like this guy. What do we see here? Is Muhammad an enemy, or is he one of the best friends of God, according to this Bible?
Right. According to what you sent me, it says that my beloved.
Not what I sent you. You can check this. Check online now in Google. The Book of Solomon in the Bible, chapter 5, verse 16. Check it in English or Hebrew, and you will see that they've hidden the word Muhammad, but it's there. Now you can see they've hid it. But is this Muhammad, is he God's friend? Is he one of God's chosen people? One of God's beloveds or not?
Yeah, it says my beloved, this lovely, and yes, he all together. And so the lovely is Muhammad.
So the evidence, does the evidence show that the lovely here is Donald Trump or George Bush?
No, it's Muhammad.
So being Lieutenant Colombo. So now, yeah, I will call you Lieutenant Colombo. Yes. So Colombo, yes, from your investigations, what does the evidence show? That the beloved is one of the chosen of God. Yeah, is it Mohammed, or is it Donald Trump?
No, it's Muhammad. It's definitely Muhammad.
Yes. So now when you're doing an investigation, there's lots of murder and destruction going on here. Yes. And so the thing is, there's people who are fighting, and you know that when there's murder, destruction, and war, people are going to change things in the Bible. But from the evidence that you could see, yes, what you call it is Muhammad in the Bible, and are people fighting these Muhammads for their money and their silver. Here is the book of Hosea, chapter 9, verse 6. You tell me, Lieutenant Colombo, what the evidence shows. Don't tell me what David says. Don't tell me what your neighbor says. What does the evidence show? Are people fighting these Muhammads for their money and silver and things like this?
It definitely appears as if there is a conflict with the Mohammedan, with Muhammad or the valuables in Hosea for their silver.
Yeah. Yes, and the thing is, this Muhammad, so was he God's enemy or one of God's beloved? And he's even telling the women, to the girls, hey, this is one of my favorites.
It definitely appears as if and God calls him his beloved, beloved. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So you see, and then the thing is there a war going on? The holy house of God. Who is inside the holy house of God? Is it the followers of the Vatican, the evangelicals? Is it the modern Jewish people that we see today? Or according to the Bible, it says our holy, beautiful house, where the fathers of Israel praised God, is burnt with fire, and the Mohammedans are destroyed. Who was destroyed with the house of God? Who was in this house of God? Does it say Jews, Christians, or Muslims, or does it say the Mohammedans?
The Mohammedans, the Mohammeds.
And was this Muhammad? I mean, was he like the enemy of God, or something like God's beloved, that God loves him. Beloved means I love him so much.
No, he was
What does the Bible say?
Says he is beautiful.
So now, how worrying is this? We've got, well, not many Christians believe, most of them in America will say, get the hell out of here. I don't believe, man. I ain't mad. There ain't no sons of God or anything. Nobody jumped out of his grave, got crucified. So millions of people in America and Europe, they don't believe, they're atheists. But the reality is, there's maybe, millions of Christians around the world. And what does this do to Christianity, to the religion? It totally kills it. It totally kills the religion. So now we've got a serious problem. I mean, the thing is, I'm not against any religion for people's feelings, but if somebody is going to ask me history, yes, then I can see that something is going wrong. Like here, we can see that somebody is sending their army and their soldiers. Yes, and when you look at this, it looks like same like the Americans invaded Iraq, that somebody is invading Israel, that this is in the book of Kings, where we have King David, King Solomon, and all the kings of Israel mentioned. And so what is Mohammed doing here? Was he one of the kings of Israel? Yes, one of the prophets of God. So now here it says that somebody is making a threat here. They're more powerful than Israel. And they're saying, now, around this time tomorrow, I'm going to send my boys to you. They're going to search your bargain house and the houses of your boys. And this will damn happen. I'm telling you, this has happened. Whatever belongs to you, to this Mohammed, they're going to pick it up and they're bringing it and they're going to take it, yo. That sounds like the Vatican, during the Crusades. And that's another problem. When did the Crusades happen? Wasn't the Book of Kings supposed to be thousands of years ago? And Muhammad was, in the Dark Ages, but then the Crusades happened only, 500-600 years ago. So we got a problem. They're lying about the entire history of the world. But now we got a new problem. Who are these people who are fighting the beloved of God? And now they've sent in their army and they're robbing them. That God must have loved them, that they must have been rich, but they're getting robbed. You can see they're taking their gold, silver, and they're, it seemed like the Americans walked into Iraq. Many soldiers, they robbed jewelry, they robbed cash. They did a lot of rape. Unfortunately, many of them did this. There were many good soldiers who reported them. There was many things like that. But the thing is, this is what happens. I mean, they were invading Israel. I mean, this is the Bible. This is the book for Israel. This is the book for Christianity. Doesn't this change world history? Lieutenant Colombo, come on, speak up. You're speaking to a Senate committee here. Yeah. I mean, what do you get paid for, Colombo? We're paying you a salary, $1 million a year. You're working for the FBI. Come on, Colombo.
It definitely changes the mainstream interpretation of what's going on in the Bible, and the connection between the Bible and the Quran, right, and Muhammad. And also, I think you pointed out, it definitely brings into question like the official timeline as to when things were happening.
Yes. Right? And if we can get to the bottom of this, it will end all conflicts. It's because for no reason people are fighting about people who lived long ago. I mean, I'm not against Jesus Christ. I'm not against the Prophet Muhammad. I'm not against the Prophet Moses. But these people aren't here today. I mean, why do we have to make enemies and hurt each other? And people are fighting online, debating, and many other things. I mean, we can look for evidence. But of course, if it's George Bush is going to turn around and think, is there any oil there? In Texas, there's oil. There's no oil in Israel. We don't want to invade that place. There's no oil there. I mean, Iraq, we'll just say they did September the 11th. Yeah, I mean, there's money there. I mean, it's the same thing here, that they're just going there like gangsters. They're mugging these people. They're robbing them. They're saying, whatever belongs to Muhammad, we're walking in tomorrow. It's going to happen, and we're going to rob everything. I mean, what is this? I mean, this is supposed to be the book of God too. Yeah, another thing. But it's telling us history. This is describing history. And now the thing is, we've got to turn around and think this changes history. And the Quran is just a different handwriting, or actually it uses the same language as the Bible, and the vowels are pronounced differently. That's all. What's
the name of the language? What do you call the language that it's all written in?
I call it the language of the rabbis. That's why it's called Arabic. Arab. Arab means masters. Rabbis are masters. They're teachers. It's the language of education in the past. That's all it was. The language of the rabbis. It's not a language of a race. And the thing is, you could use different handwritings. You see, so they modified the handwritings. That Hebrew, by the way, we're looking at is actually print Hebrew. I'll have to go through the fraud of the printing press next time. If you have time one day, we'll make a video on the printing press. When you see that, you're going to think, oh my God, it's one of the biggest frauds ever. Because what they did is, no offense to white or black people in America, but to rob the history of the black people in America, what they did was they modified the print Hebrew. It's got a lot to do with the Bible and the print Hebrew and the history of the printing press, that they had to hide this Mohammed thing also, because the thing is, if you can turn around and say, like, let's say, for example, and if you said that, the blacks belong in Africa, in America, America's a rich country. I mean, come on, it's rich compared to Africa. Then you could turn around and say one day and saying, hey, this is not your country, you're an immigrant. Basically, it's not your land. You don't have the rights, big political rights or control over this land. But then if you actually see it from another thing and see that, if the blacks were already there, then it's their land.
All right, so let me ask you this. How does that connect to Hebrew in the language?
And the print, it's because
in the print, how does that connect?
This Hebrew is called print Hebrew. If people read my books, I've got about 20 books. They go through the history and the lies, which is very interesting. The thing is, the print Hebrew shows that the dating of the manuscripts are fake, that they can't be 2,000 years old, that they must have been written at the time of the printing press, because the books are ready for printing. It's like when I'm writing a book and I'm doing it on Microsoft Word, it means I'm doing it, preparing it. If I'm writing a book for printing, I'll do it on Microsoft Word. Whereas if it's like a written Hebrew, looks the same like Arabic. If people go through my other books, they'll find it there, but that's another thing. We'll go through the printing next time. The written Hebrew, it looks like Arabic. It's written in the same way. They use the same letters, the same alphabet, really, just different in the printing system. So then when somebody looks at it, they're going to think, oh my God, this Bible can't be older than the 16th, 17th century. And then the way the stories are modified, it means they must have completed the Bible by the 18th century. That means the Bible is about 200 years old. That's a major worry. I mean, the Bible can't be old. It's actually telling the stories of the Mohammedans and the fights between the Muslims and the Vatican, who they call Christians. We can actually see the fights. And then what's even worse is that these Mohammeds or Muslims are the children of Israel. And that's another scam, because if people check the history, it's in my book, Jerusalem is in Europe. If they go through it, the Star of David was on Muslim Arabic coins. Yes. Throughout the Middle East and Europe for centuries. So the thing is and not only this, the Jewish people that we see today, the European ones, they were called Muslims before the 1960s. Do you know this?
No, I did not know that. So wait a minute, say it again.
Yeah.
The Europeans today were called Muslims?
Yeah, this is shocking. Wait, let me just the European Jews. Yes, this is actually worrying. There are many people who question the Holocaust and they say, oh, a lot of the stories are fake, they've overdone it. It doesn't matter. There were prisoners and they did take them to camps. Now, whether many of the prisoners died or from starvation or from gassing, people are saying there's a lot of fraud in the history. Okay, I don't want to go into the fraud. Yeah, I accept that. Some stories are fake, some are true. But the fact is, you could read this yourself. This is from Auschwitz camps. So the Jews that they sent to the camps, what were they called? You could read this story. Read it, actually. The word commonly.
Yeah, let me see. The word commonly used in Auschwitz and other German concentration camps. In Auschwitz, the distorted form of the Polish word denoting a Muslim was used. Muslim. Yeah. In the camp jargon, it referred to a prisoner in the terminal stages of physical and mental exhaustion due to all starvation. Do above.
That's what they're saying. Yeah. That's what they're saying. But the reality is, yes, the Germans and other people who were involved. There was French, other things, and then these Jews that they took from Germany and Poland. They were actually called Muslims. That's the thing. In different pronunciation, Muslim man, Muslim man. They were all called Muslim man. These people who were taken during the Holocaust are used as workers in Germany and everything else. Does this not change world history? Why does not anybody know that the people that the Nazis or anybody else in Europe that were rounding up and they said these people are Jews, they're all Muslims? Isn't this strange?
Very.
Yes. So the thing is, if people want to know more information, actually, because this is a very long topic, it's a deep topic, and you can't describe it in 5 minutes or like if we do this in 1 hour. The reality is, yes, this is what the evidence shows. And now I will ask you, Lieutenant Colombo, can you testify before the Senate committee hearing today? Yes. Who were the Muslims in World War II that the Germans were rounding up? Were the Jews actually Muslims at that time? Is that what they were called?
According to
your
evidence,
investigation show, Lieutenant Colombo? Can you speak up before the committee?
Yeah. According to evidence, they were called Muslims or Muslims.
Muslims. Yes. So now we've got a real problem. So why were these children of Israel or Jews called Muslims? Yes. And the thing is, anybody. So now the thing is, they're going to say they were called Jews today. But if you were there in the 1930s and 40s, yes, you could read this here. It's like it's well known. Yes. And the thing is, Musulmaner, it means Muslim man. Yes, the German version of Muslim man or meaning Muslim. They're going to tell us, they're going to give us an invented history. They're going to say it's slang. It means this is what people said every day. So when they took these people as forced labor, and many people say they became extermination camps later, but first they were like slaves. It was a slang term used amongst who? You can read this. Among
the German, so it was used amongst the Germans in the concentration camps.
And used amongst the Jewish captives. So
amongst the Jewish captives,
Yeah, so the Jewish captives are the prisoners. They called each other Musulman or Muslim man. They were calling each other Muslim man. Can you believe this? In the German accent. Why would they do that? Isn't this worrying? And then Mohammed's all over the Bible. And then all this history has disappeared. Yes, then there is more. Let me show you how they changed history after World War II.
All right, it's getting interesting here.
Another thing is, yes, the Bible uses the word in you. Yes, quite a lot. Now, what I want to know is that all.
Wait a minute, it uses what word? You broke up a little bit. What word does it use?
Mohamedinu. It's like when you
Okay.
pronounce the past tense and future tense of from Mohammedan. It's pronounced Mohamedinu in modern Hebrew, depending on your dialect. So now another strange thing is, the Jews were called Muslims in Germany, Muslim man. They were called Muslim man. And then look at this: the people in the Middle East, what were they called? Wikipedia, until at least the mid 1960s.
They were called Mohammedans or Mohammedans.
So now the Arabs in the Middle East, they weren't called Muslims. It was only after World War II that they started calling the Arabs Muslims, or they were called Mohammedans. Can you see something here now? The Jews were called the Muslims in Germany, but the Arabs were called Mohammedans. Are you beginning to see the difference here? Until the 1960s, English language writers called these people Mohammedans, the Muslims that we see today. But the Jews weren't called Jews, they were called Muslims. Can you see this now? It means they're lying about the meaning of the word Jew as well. All these things, it will take too long. The thing is, you know, the evidence, I put it through a report for Lieutenant Colombo and for the Senate committee. Yeah, it's in my book. Jerusalem is in Europe. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, can you go through the meaning of the word Jew?
It's got several meanings. It's like, for example, what does American mean? Does it mean white? Does it mean native? Does it mean Latino? What does native mean? Does native mean white? Does it mean native black or native American Asiatic, or does it mean the native, the nomadic ones, the gypsies? There's a million native gypsies that nobody talks about in Latin America. I mean, what does it mean? So the meaning changes over time. You see, it's like the word French meant a white man in the 1950s. The word German became white German in the 1960s. But today, you could be, you know, an Arab German or a Nigerian German. I mean, there's no such thing as Nigerian German. He was born in Germany. He's black. He's German. I mean, no one's got the right to turn around and say he's not, apart from some right-wing racist people. But then, you know, they sterilized, you know, just 400,000, you know, Middle Eastern or colored type of people who were Germans just because they had dark skin or black skin. I mean, so who said Germany belongs to white people? Yes, that's just in the 1930s and 40s. They did, you know, 400,000 or 500,000. And at that time, the growth rate of Germany, it means that today, just from that 400,000, there could be like 5 million. I'm forgetting there's more that they sterilized. Yeah, there should be. If they didn't sterilize and murder, yes, people with, you know, like, you know, brown skin and black skin, then Germany, even without the immigration, should have 25 million, you know, darker skinned people. Unfortunately, the band organized these, making them sterile, so that they thought, we don't have to chop their heads off. We're just going to give them some type of drug injectionation so that they can't have babies, so that, you know, that's the end of their color, because we don't want them here. I mean, that's how racist they were. I mean, there's all these movements and other things, but what people don't understand is that with the differences in the world, many people, different races have different qualities. Yeah, people say, some people say that different peoples, not races, just peoples, have different knowledge, different capabilities. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're black or white, but if you come from America, you speak English, you've got that quality that if you're going to be, you know, in Mexico, and you want to learn English, I mean, does a teacher coming from America, does it matter if they're black or white? It's like, I'm saying this is because at the moment in England, there's horrible things here that things could go bad, but the government's controlled it. But we don't know what it could be. It's a small island here, yeah, and there is, you know, many racist people here. And the thing is, God knows where they get their funding from, and they're going to try to spread it here. But generally, the English people aren't racist. You know, they're nice these days. But the thing is, it's a serious worry at the moment, and the instability. I mean, England's a nice country. I don't want it to fall apart, but it's a worry at the moment. There's been protests and violence recently in the last 2 weeks.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
No, but this race thing is important. I'll tell you why. Because of the bad history, many people seem to assume that maybe, let's say if Jerusalem is in Europe and there's these stories, they've given us the impression that Muhammad was an Arab or a brown-colored man. That Jesus Christ is like he was a Jew or more white with these photographs. And these are the things they've given us these things. But the reality, the evidence shows that Moses, Muhammad, and Jesus Christ, they lived in Europe. And another thing is that Europe wasn't white either in the past. It had all kinds of people. That these people, they could have been black or brown or yellow or even white. And these people were, historically, many people loved them. Now, we don't know if they were great people or if they were just politicians like Barack Obama and Donald Trump. And then, 500 years later, people say, Trump was the chosen one. And yeah, let's say the Christians say this 500 years later. He was like the chosen one of God. But then the Muslims turn around and say, but at least Obama was the chosen one. And then many people say Obama was black. Others say, no, he was an Arab. I mean, wasn't his father or somewhere from Indonesia? Somebody will say, no, his father was from Africa, but he lived in Indonesia. But then the stories get mixed and people change it for politics and they make money out of it. And so these leaders, prophets, were actually professors. They were presidents. They were leaders. They had many followers. And then the thing is, whether they spoke with God or not, and they got these things, that's your belief. But the thing is, the thing is about color. Nobody knows the color, and the thing is, I don't know right now. I think that's very important to point out because many people have tried to make people think Muhammad was an Arab. There is no evidence of this. I couldn't find him in Arabia. In fact, I will share my investigations with you, Lieutenant Colombo, next time. But for this time, let's call it to a close. But is there any questions regarding Muhammad in the Bible?
You know what? You gave a lot of evidence, and I think it's really compelling. So let me see anything else that I wanted to get to. So what we know now is that it appears as if the Crusades are being described in the Bible, and in the Bible, the Mohammedans are being persecuted, right? And the Mohammedans are gods, like God loves them. God loves Muhammad, and his followers are being persecuted. Yeah, no, this is good. So I think this is a great start.
Yeah, and these Mohammedans, when we see Muslims today, don't they say they are the followers of Jesus Christ and Moses?
They do.
Don't they say that Judaism is their religion? Don't they say Christ was their prophet and their religion? It's the only one that matches this story in the Bible that that has all of these things together. It doesn't mean that you have to follow it. It's like, for me personally, I mean, I like all people. It's like I think God must be a nice person. I hope so anyway. And I think, it doesn't matter if you got it wrong, you're in the wrong religion. Or if somebody says if it's in the wrong one, if somebody says you're wrong, it doesn't really matter. If you're a good person, you do your best. And that you try to look for the truth. And then the thing is, history is a different thing. But the thing is, do your best. And I don't really think that God's some monster or somebody who's going to give you eternal damnation or these things how it's described in Revelation and these things. You're going to be in a fire forever or something. I don't. As long as you weren't one of these evil people, rape, torture, and murder, stay away from these things. Apart from that, I think you'll be okay. Don't worry. And then I advise people, don't take religion in a personal way, so that you got to, be violent with somebody or start shouting or something. It's something that the thing is, we don't know. It's because the thing is, we know politicians and politics, they lie, and unfortunately these prophets and kings, I mean King David was a king. We have King Charles in England. We have a king here. I mean, they're politicians and they lie. You see, King David is a prophet in the Bible. I mean, Jesus Christ. You want to give him title King of the Jews? I mean, we've got the King of Saudi Arabia. I mean, we've got kings. And the thing is, he could say, somebody could say 500 years later, he was chosen by God. We weren't there. If we weren't there, the thing is, yeah, let's cherish the history. We can, we might want to say these people are special. And the thing is, yeah, they were prophets, professors, and things like this. And now the thing is, did they speak with God? We weren't there. It's our belief. So I advise people don't push anybody with it and study. Yeah, go on. All right. Yeah. What?
No. I was gonna say, I think this was a good opening talk, and so we'll definitely flesh out some more stuff because we didn't even talk about what I think what you have mentioned talking about in terms of like the New World Order. We didn't get to none of that, but I think this was good.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
It's all right. We'll do it in one of the upcoming talks. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I appreciate you coming.
What do you want to call this video then? What will you call it?
So we're probably going to call it Mohamed in the Bible.
Yeah, that's a good one. Or yeah, maybe that. Or, yeah, if you want, or you could. There's other things. Or the Bible is a Muslim book, or I don't know. Or the Quran is a Christian book, or the Bible is a Muslim book. The truth is, it's like if we could find history and we got the lies out of the way, then the people of the world can get together, and then you know, it's like the evangelical churches are making billions of dollars. I mean, Bibles and Qurans, they make a lot of money. It's a fraud. They're selling these manuscripts, and they're making even the Quran translations are a fraud. And the manuscripts, the Quran manuscripts, they're a fraud. You won't believe it. Like there's groups in America, beware of them, Quranists, and they're saying the Quran says this and that, and they're going off these manuscripts. Those manuscripts are fraud. They've got, and many of these people, they're making lots of money. God,
so why is the Quran? Why is the Quran a fraud? So you explain why the Bible, like the written Bible, was. Now
we'll have to do that another time.
All right, we'll do it later.
Yeah, let's close it for today. It's like we've got very good information for people, and if people have many topics, we'll try and do one topic at a time. Let people leave comments, and we'll see what they say. Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right.
Very good.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Here, let me go ahead and stop it.
Yeah, and before you stop, you know, these pictures that I sent you, put them in the video so that then people can see these things. Yes,
I will. Yes,
and
sir.
Check it themselves. Okay, let's leave it at that for today then. Yes.
All right, cool. Thanks for coming through today, man. This is dope. I loved it. Yeah. All right, so we'll see you next time. All right.
Okay, see you next time. Okay, yeah. Bye. Bye.
Yep.
Bye. Good evening.